There is one mistake I see again and again in patients over 75, and most of them are shocked when they hear it. Many seniors believe that if they stretch every morning, their muscles and joints will stay strong enough to keep them steady and independent. They sit on the edge of the bed, reach for their toes, stretch their arms overhead, maybe twist their back gently, and they feel like they are doing the right thing. But what I have seen in clinic tells a very different story. The truth is that stretching alone does not prepare the muscles for stability, and after the age of 75 stability becomes far more important than flexibility. In fact, many falls happen in seniors who are actually quite flexible but whose muscles are no longer activating properly when they stand, walk, or reach for something across the room. That is why today I want to explain something most people are never told until after an injury has already happened. Stretching lengthens muscles, but it does not wake them up. And after 75, the body needs activation more than anything else. Many patients sit across from me in my office and say something very similar. They say, "Doctor, I stretch every morning. I don't understand why my legs feel weak or why my balance feels worse this year." And that question is exactly why this conversation matters so much. Because stretching feels productive. It feels healthy. It feels like movement. But stretching by itself does not train the nervous system to control muscles under real-life conditions like standing up from a chair, stepping off a curb, or catching yourself if you trip slightly. Over time, the muscles responsible for balance and stability begin to weaken if they are not activated regularly. And when those muscles weaken, the joints lose support. The knees feel unstable. The hips feel stiff. The ankles react slower. The brain sends signals to muscles that are simply not ready to respond quickly enough. Let me explain this in simple terms. When you stretch a muscle, you are increasing its length and elasticity. That is useful for reducing stiffness. But when you activate a muscle through controlled movement, something much more important happens. The nervous system reconnects with that muscle. Blood flow increases. Joint stabilizers begin working together again. Think of it like turning on the lights in a room instead of just opening the curtains. After 75, those lights must be switched on regularly if you want the body to stay responsive. So today I want to share 5 movements that orthopedic specialists often recommend for adults over 75. These movements go far beyond simple stretching. They activate key muscles responsible for balance, walking stability, circulation, and joint protection. And while each one is valuable, one particular movement consistently produces stronger lower body activation than the others. That movement will appear at the number 1 position in today's ranking because it stimulates multiple muscle groups at once and helps reinforce the body's natural balance system. But before we begin, I'm always curious about the wonderful community that gathers around these videos. If you feel comfortable, take a moment to write in the comments how old you are today and what country you're watching from. Many viewers say it's encouraging to see people from around the world staying active together even later in life. Now let's begin with number 5. Number 5 is the seated ankle pump activation. At first glance this movement may seem far too simple to matter, but it is one of the most frequently prescribed exercises after knee and hip surgery. And the reason is circulation. As we age, blood tends to pool more easily in the lower legs, especially after long periods of sitting or lying down. Reduced circulation can lead to swelling, stiffness, and slower muscle response. A study published in vascular research journals found that adults over 75 who remain inactive for long periods have significantly reduced calf muscle pumping action, which normally helps return blood to the heart. When the calf muscles remain inactive, circulation slows and the legs can feel heavy or unstable when standing. To perform the seated ankle pump, sit comfortably in a sturdy chair with both feet flat on the floor. Slowly extend one leg forward so the heel rests lightly on the floor. Now gently point your toes downward as if pressing a pedal. Hold that position for 2 seconds. Then slowly pull the toes upward toward your body and hold again for 2 seconds. Repeat this motion slowly and rhythmically about 15 times before switching legs. The goal is not speed but smooth activation. As this movement repeats, the calf muscles contract and relax, helping circulate blood through the lower leg while also waking up the ankle stabilizers. Over time, this simple activation helps reduce swelling, improve circulation, and prepare the ankles for walking. Many seniors notice that their feet feel lighter and more responsive when standing up after doing this movement regularly. Number 4 is the seated knee extension hold, and this movement plays a crucial role in strengthening one of the most important muscle groups responsible for stability and independence after the age of 75. Many seniors believe that walking alone is enough to maintain strong knees, but what most people don't realize is that walking mainly moves the joint without fully strengthening the muscles that protect it. The quadriceps muscles, located at the front of the thigh, act like powerful stabilizers for the knee joint. When these muscles become weak, the knees begin to feel unstable, standing up becomes more difficult, and everyday activities like climbing stairs, getting out of a car, or rising from a chair can suddenly feel much harder than they once did. Orthopedic specialists frequently observe that seniors who struggle with knee weakness often have underactive quadriceps muscles rather than damaged joints. That means the solution is not always rest or stretching but controlled activation of the muscles that support the knee. The seated knee extension hold is specifically designed to wake up these muscles in a safe and gentle way while also improving joint control and coordination between the muscles and the nervous system. To perform this exercise correctly, begin by sitting comfortably in a sturdy chair with your back straight and both feet flat on the floor. Make sure your hips are positioned fully on the chair so that your posture remains stable throughout the movement. Slowly extend one leg forward until the knee becomes straight, lifting the foot off the floor while keeping the thigh supported by the chair. Once the leg is extended, gently tighten the muscles at the front of your thigh. You should feel the quadriceps engage as the knee remains steady in that extended position. Hold this contraction for about 5 seconds while breathing normally and keeping your upper body relaxed. After holding the position, slowly lower the leg back down until the foot returns to the floor. Repeat this movement 10 to 12 times before switching to the other leg. The key to this exercise is performing it slowly and with control rather than rushing through the repetitions. Each hold allows the quadriceps muscles to activate fully, strengthening their ability to stabilize the knee during daily activities. Over time, this repeated activation improves muscle endurance and coordination, making movements such as standing, walking, and sitting much smoother and more secure. Many seniors notice that after practicing the seated knee extension hold regularly, their legs feel stronger when they stand up, their knees feel less shaky, and their overall confidence while moving increases. Another important benefit of this exercise is that it helps maintain joint alignment by encouraging the muscles around the knee to work together properly. When the quadriceps are strong and active, they reduce stress on the knee joint itself, which may help decrease discomfort and improve long-term joint health. This movement can also be easily modified depending on your comfort level. For example, beginners may start by holding the leg extension for only 2 or 3 seconds before gradually increasing the duration as strength improves. Some people also find it helpful to perform the exercise while gently flexing the foot upward, which further activates the muscles in the lower leg and increases circulation. Because the seated knee extension hold is low impact and controlled, it is often recommended for seniors recovering from knee stiffness or reduced mobility. Performing it consistently, even just a few minutes each day, can make a meaningful difference in leg strength and stability. When combined with the other activation movements in this routine, it helps build a strong foundation for balance, mobility, and confidence in everyday life. Number 3 is the seated march activation, and this movement plays a powerful role in maintaining walking strength, coordination, and independence after the age of 75. Many seniors notice that as the years pass, their steps gradually become shorter, slower, and sometimes less steady. What most people don't realize is that this change is often not caused by aging alone, but by weakening muscles around the hips and lower abdomen that are responsible for lifting the legs during walking. One of the most important of these muscles is the hip flexor group, which works every time you lift your knee to take a step. When these muscles lose strength or become less active, the legs may begin to drag slightly, steps become lower, and the risk of tripping increases. Orthopedic specialists frequently see patients who say they feel like their legs are heavier than they used to be, or that they need to concentrate more when walking. In many cases, the issue is not the joints themselves but the lack of regular activation of the muscles that control the lifting motion of the legs. The seated march activation is designed specifically to wake up these muscles in a safe and controlled way while sitting, which makes it ideal for seniors who may feel unsteady standing for long periods. To perform this movement, begin by sitting upright in a sturdy chair with your back straight and both feet flat on the floor. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed and your posture is tall so that your core muscles can assist in stabilizing the body. Slowly lift one knee upward towards your chest as if you were marching in place while seated. The movement should be smooth and controlled rather than fast or jerky. Raise the knee as high as feels comfortable without leaning backward or straining your hips. Once the knee is lifted, pause for a moment to allow the hip flexor muscles to fully engage, then slowly lower the foot back to the floor. After returning the foot to the ground, repeat the same movement with the opposite leg. Continue alternating legs in a steady marching rhythm for about 20 repetitions. The key to this exercise is maintaining control and focusing on the muscle activation rather than the height of the lift. As the knee rises, the hip flexors contract while the abdominal muscles gently stabilize the torso, creating a coordinated pattern that closely mimics the motion used during walking. Over time, this repeated activation strengthens the muscles responsible for lifting the legs, which can improve step height and reduce the shuffling pattern that many seniors develop unknowingly. Another important benefit of the seated march activation is that it encourages better communication between the brain and the muscles of the lower body. As we age, the nervous system sometimes becomes slower at sending signals to certain muscles, which can affect reaction time and coordination. By performing this exercise regularly, the brain practices sending clear signals to the hips and legs, helping restore smoother movement patterns. Many seniors who include seated marching in their routine notice that their walking feels more natural, their legs feel lighter, and they have greater confidence when moving around their home or outdoors. This exercise also gently activates the lower abdominal muscles and stabilizers around the pelvis, which contribute to better posture and balance while walking. The movement can be performed almost anywhere, whether while watching television, reading, or sitting at the kitchen table, making it easy to incorporate into daily life without needing special equipment. Some people like to begin with 10 repetitions on each leg and gradually increase as their strength improves. Others find that performing the exercise twice a day helps keep their hips flexible and responsive. Number 2 is the assisted chair stand, and this movement is considered by many orthopedic specialists to be one of the most important functional exercises for adults over 75 because it directly trains a movement the body performs many times every single day. Think about how often you rise from a chair, get up from the edge of a bed, stand up from the dining table, or lift yourself out of a car seat. These actions may seem simple, but they require a coordinated effort between several major muscle groups, including the quadriceps at the front of the thighs, the gluteal muscles in the hips, and the stabilizing muscles of the core. As we age, these muscles often become weaker or slower to activate, which is why many seniors begin to push off the armrests or rely heavily on their hands to stand up. While using your hands for assistance is completely normal, gradually losing the strength to stand comfortably can reduce independence and increase the risk of falls. The assisted chair stand is specifically designed to rebuild that essential strength while still providing enough support to keep the movement safe and controlled. To perform this exercise correctly, begin by sitting toward the front edge of a sturdy chair with your feet placed flat on the floor about shoulder width apart. Your knees should be bent at a comfortable angle, and your posture should remain upright with your shoulders relaxed. If needed, place your hands lightly on the sides of the chair or on your thighs for additional support. From this starting position, gently lean your upper body slightly forward so that your shoulders move over your knees. This forward lean is very important because it shifts your body weight over your feet, allowing your leg muscles to engage more effectively. Once you feel balanced, slowly press through your feet and begin to stand up, straightening your knees and hips until you reach a fully upright position. Pause briefly at the top to allow your body to stabilize, then slowly lower yourself back down into the chair with control rather than dropping quickly into the seat. The downward phase of the movement is just as valuable as the standing phase because it strengthens the muscles responsible for controlling the descent. Repeat this movement 8 to 10 times, resting if necessary between repetitions. If standing fully feels challenging at first, you can begin with partial chair stands where you rise only halfway before sitting again. Over time, as your muscles grow stronger and more responsive, you can gradually increase the height of the stand until you are able to rise completely with confidence. The assisted chair stand works so well because it mimics a real-life movement pattern, helping the brain and muscles relearn how to cooperate efficiently. When performed regularly, this exercise strengthens the quadriceps and gluteal muscles, improves joint stability in the knees and hips, and enhances overall balance. Many seniors report that after practicing chair stands consistently for several weeks, they feel noticeably stronger when getting out of chairs, climbing stairs, or standing for longer periods. Another advantage of this movement is that it helps maintain bone health by gently loading the lower body with your own body weight, which encourages bones to stay strong and resilient. Because the exercise can be easily adjusted with hand support or partial stands, it is suitable for many different strength levels and can be performed safely at home without special equipment. Over time, the assisted chair stand becomes more than just an exercise. It becomes a powerful tool for preserving independence. By strengthening the muscles used in everyday movements, it helps seniors maintain the ability to rise confidently, move freely, and continue performing daily tasks without relying heavily on assistance. Number 1 is the sit-to-balance activation step, and this movement earns the top position because it trains one of the most important abilities the body needs after the age of 75, the ability to stabilize itself immediately after standing. Many exercises strengthen individual muscles, but very few teach the body how to coordinate multiple muscle groups at the same time while maintaining balance. Orthopedic specialists often explain that most falls do not happen simply because a person is weak, but because the body cannot quickly organize its muscles when weight shifts unexpectedly. When someone stands up and begins to move, the ankles, knees, hips, and core must all communicate with the brain within fractions of a second to keep the body steady. Over the years, that communication between the nervous system and the stabilizing muscles can become slower if it is not practiced regularly. The sit-to-balance activation step helps retrain that system by combining strength, coordination, and balance into one controlled movement. It begins similarly to the chair stand exercise but adds an important stabilizing phase that teaches the body to control its weight once standing. To perform this movement, start by sitting near the front edge of a sturdy chair with your feet placed flat on the floor about shoulder width apart. Keep your back straight, your shoulders relaxed, and your hands resting lightly on your thighs or the sides of the chair if you need additional support. From this position, gently lean your upper body forward so that your shoulders move slightly over your knees, allowing your center of gravity to shift toward your feet. Once you feel balanced, press through your feet and slowly rise to a standing position. When you reach full standing height, pause for a moment rather than immediately sitting down again. This pause is what transforms the movement into a balance activation exercise. While standing, gently shift a small amount of your weight from one foot to the other without lifting the feet off the ground. The shift should be subtle and controlled, almost like a gentle sway from side to side. As you do this, the stabilizing muscles around the ankles, knees, hips, and core automatically engage to keep your body upright. Hold this balanced standing position for about 5 to 10 seconds while breathing calmly. Then slowly lower yourself back into the chair with control. Repeat this entire sequence 8 to 10 times, focusing on smooth movements and steady breathing. What makes this exercise so effective is the way it teaches the body to react to small shifts in weight, which is exactly what happens when walking, turning, or reaching for something on a shelf. Over time, the nervous system becomes better at coordinating the stabilizing muscles that protect the joints and maintain posture. Many seniors who practice the sit-to-balance activation step regularly notice that they feel steadier when standing, more confident when beginning to walk, and less worried about losing their balance during everyday activities. Another important benefit is that the movement strengthens the glutes, thighs, and core muscles while also activating the small stabilizers around the ankles that are essential for preventing slips and falls. Because the exercise is performed slowly and close to a chair, it remains safe and manageable for most seniors, even those who are just beginning to rebuild strength. Some people like to start with shorter standing pauses and gradually increase the duration as their balance improves. Others place a sturdy table or countertop nearby for extra reassurance while practicing. The sit-to-balance activation step is not just about standing up. It is about teaching the body to stay stable once it is upright. Each of these movements activates muscles that simple stretching cannot reach. And when performed consistently, they help protect independence by strengthening the systems responsible for balance and stability. If today's video helped you understand how movement changes after 75, consider subscribing for more senior health insights designed to keep you strong, mobile, and independent for many years to come. And if you know someone who relies only on stretching each morning, sharing this video could make a meaningful difference in their safety and mobility. Remember, small movements done consistently can protect the freedom to move confidently through daily life. And that freedom is one of the most valuable things we can preserve as the years continue forward.